turning the 6mm foam board into these Nazgûl pauldrons. The template I'm using was purchased on Etsy from Lindy Design Lab. Once I had all of my pieces cut, I used my Dremel to put a bevel on each sides of the shoulder pieces, and then I used a contact cement to glue them together. Once I had the shoulder put together, I used a glue gun on the underside of the shoulder to secure those seams. Once I had all of my edges sanded down and even, I applied the last piece of the shoulder armor with a contact cement. Then I used my heat gun to heat bend the lower pieces of the armor. At this point I used Plasti dip to seal my armor, but I don't recommend you do that just yet, and I will tell you why. For the embellishments, I'm super gluing thin strips of 4mm foam. At this point I thought that my foam clay would have been better suited for this, but since I had already sealed it, I was unable to adhere the foam clay. Once I was happy with my design, I used my Dremel to sand down these pieces so it didn't look like I just super glued some foam on top of my shoulder armor. The last thing I'm doing to get the texture that I want is using my wood burning tool to burn holes and gouges into the shoulder armor. Because I had already coated this in Plasti Seal, it was stinky and did not go as well as it should have. But the end result was awesome, and I wore my respirator, so I was happy. And now I'm ready to do a coat of Plasti Seal to seal up all of those new details and to get this ready for painting. The painting techniques I'm using for this are consistent with the ones for the other projects, so I'm not going to go through them in this video. Once I'm happy with my paint job, I use Chicago screws to put together the lower armor pieces. The spacing and measurements for where I'm placing these depend on where I wanted it to fall on my arm. I'm using Chicago screws because they give me flexibility while I'm wearing them. And the final step for this build is to use a contact cement to glue the lower arm pieces to the shoulder plate. And the end result are a couple of pauldrons that are fit for the Witch King of Angmar. See you next time.